Hello lovely people, welcome back to another book chat. Okay, so I am going to dive into a bit of an older book here, but I suppose I do read a lot of older books. I'm terrible with keeping up with new books, as has been observed before. But this one is by Shirley Jackson. So Shirley Jackson, We Have Always Lived in the Castle. And I don't know if you read Shirley Jackson before. I think the story that most of us have come across is The Lottery, and that's an absolutely fantastic short story. It's wonderfully creepy. It stays with you for ages afterwards. And if you haven't read any of hers, I would definitely start with that, because it's short, it gives you an idea of her style, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely wonderful. Everyone should read it if you've got any interest in horror or creepy ghost stories or anything like that. Not that it's a ghost story, but okay, so I did actually used to have more of her books, and I don't know where they've gone, again, victims of various moves and that sort of thing. But this one I actually read fairly recently for the first time, and I absolutely love it. It's not a ghost story, it's more psychological, and it's told from the point of view of Merricat, who is the younger sister of Constance. And she's a very unreliable narrator. You're not quite sure what she's remembering and what she's covering up and what she's making up. And they live in this very, very isolated state in this beautiful big old country house near a village, but not in the village. And Constance never goes out. Merricat does go out. She goes to the village and she collects their shopping and that sort of thing. But the villagers hate her. The villagers hate both of them. They're very scared of the people that live in the castle, the house. And bit by bit we start learning why, and we start learning why it's just these two sisters and the rest of the family are gone, and we know that something terrible happened. They've also got an uncle living there as well, but he's not very with it. And so everything's this very weird isolated world where Merricat just sort of has her own way and she does her own things, and Constance goes along with it. But it's idyllic in a way as well. There's a lot of talk about the beautiful food that Constance prepares and they eat, and the gorgeous grounds of this place, which is very run down but still very stunning. And it's a very interesting world, and it's in balance. But then someone arrives, a cousin arrives, and he wants things to change, and that throws everything out. And Merricat's world is just all of a sudden completely out of control, and she doesn't know what to do to bring it back into control. She's got all these little rituals, and suddenly none of them are working. And bit by bit we start learning more about about what actually happened, about what happened to the rest of the family, and things get more and more out of control until there's one terrible event and terrible night, and it's just so wonderfully done. It's a really, really skillful portrayal of this really lost and broken family who have created a world for themselves which works, and this very broken girl who has, she's created almost a fantasy world of her own. She's holding it together, and I just thought it was wonderful. I thought it was a great read, and yeah, quite creepy, but very touching as well in a way. So yeah, so if you're looking for something like that, a little bit spooky, a little bit unusual, more the psychological side than an actual horror story, there we go. We Have Always Lived in the Castle. And it's also kind of a little bit funny all the way through as well, which always wins high points for me. So yeah, so let me know, people, have you read any Shirley Jackson? What ones do you recommend? And yeah, any other of those sort of, particularly I think this sort of era, which I think was in the 50s or 60s, something like that, she was writing. Might even be before that, actually. No, before that. Of those sort of lovely, creepy stories, because I thoroughly enjoy them, and I would love to have some more recommendations. Okay, thanks very much. Bye.